Hello, Boris Pravisham here. We're back on the Nidd server. It's been a few days since the last episode. We're in the Ugly Barry. The colour scheme hasn't changed because I haven't really worked on this ship. I'll reinvestigate the colour change afterwards. The only thing that I have changed, if you see up there, that's an ore detector. Let's actually go outside. You know, that'd be a little more intelligent. But I actually ground down one of my thrusters and then salvaged the platinum from it. I have my helmet on. Oh, I'm good. I salvaged the platinum from it so that I could make the ore detector, which was a good choice because I could then just fly around from... We're upside down, actually, at the moment, compared to the ship. I flew around with the ore detector and I managed to find some platinum on one of the other asteroids. It wasn't much, but I think I went through another 7 asteroids before I found platinum. So that seems to be the thing that we're having the most trouble with. That said, you know, Sal and Spider-Man are on. I know Anubis is... I think he's designing ships for this server as well, so he's around. Yeah, one of them probably has a secret platinum stash that they're not telling anyone about. Right. Where do I start? Okay, so the first thing that happened was there was an update. Actually, that was the second thing that happened, but the first thing I'll talk about, there was an update that introduced DirectX 11, and I tried that out. I'll put a screenshot on screen of what happened when I did. So that is why I'm not recording in it. I'm on DX9. I don't know why that's happening yet. It doesn't seem to be happening for other people, but I haven't really investigated yet. I've had some computer troubles lately, so if it's working on DX9, then I'm going to stick on that for a little while because I couldn't be bothered playing around with stuff, and I fear ruining everything because I'm operating on drivers that are a year old, around roughly a year old, because that's the stable one. That's the one that works, and I don't really want to move off that, and I think that might be a part of the problem. Anyway, so let's go back to where we were last time, up there. So you can see that asteroid in the center of screen up there. So that one over there with the orange iron on it, that's the central station. I'm guessing that's where Sal is at the moment. Where would Spider-Nest, so Spider-Man's probably up there. That asteroid over there is where we stopped last time, and while flying around looking for platinum, this was actually one of the asteroids I hadn't, and I stumbled, so all of the plans for that asteroid went out the window when I saw this, and I wish I'd at least taken a screenshot of what it looked like beforehand, but I forgot. So well, we'll have to imagine that none of the scaffolding's here. It's just this sort of torus shape through here as we fly around in here. And yeah, it's just a ring. And I thought that looked quite nice. And then I sort of flew back a little bit, and I quite liked the look in my head of having a sort of torus, like donut-shaped base in there. And I've gone a bit away from the torus. If I could get back in, why'd I fly so far away? So it's got this sort of semicircle up there like that, and rather than that being all the way around like it is in a torus, so it's curved from every point, it's only curved at the front and then it runs back. So you can see over here, see it curves up and then there's a flat side. And I decided that because I think I wanted to put a door on there. Plus it is surprisingly difficult to build a torus with I suppose it's not necessarily surprising. It's hard enough to build curves in a game that's based on these what are they called? The voxel. It's hard to do that. I'm playing around with these new smooth blocks and the different armor slopes, and I haven't worked it out yet because this keeps happening. I don't know why that's even a thing. I can't... It was in an update video ages ago. I'm going to have to go back and look at it because I don't know how to use it. But that one strip is roughly the idea I was having for this, and I was going to try and smooth it all the way around and make that, and I might lift the edges up, see how it comes down to a complete stop at the bottom. Once again, I flew too far away. See, so it comes down here and then just stops at the rock level. I'm thinking of curving that in a little bit. I am the sort of person who welds first and asks questions later. So I'm going to weld this up, and then I'll sort of, I guess, sculpt out of that what I want. So it's not going to be all this. I am going to put some windows in. I'm thinking that most of what I want can go on the inside. So we'll just fly around. I'm thinking maybe 3 floors at the front here. How I'm going to fill them, I have no idea. I'm going to see if Sal wants to set up base in here. Like, she said that she would, but I'm going to check that this is where she actually wants to set up. That'll help fill some space. I like building really big things, and I always run into the problem of not being able to fill them. There isn't enough to fill them. This over here, I'm thinking of making this and around the corner into the main hangar area, although I don't know if it's really big enough for some really big ships, because I would like to be able to construct, like have a constructor there, like the projector and the welders and so forth for an automatic thing, a 3D printer kind of thing. I would like to put something in there that could construct something the size of the ugly Barry over there. I guess that probably fits in there, doesn't it? But it would be a tight squeeze getting out, and I definitely wouldn't have a door that big. So, yeah, I might have to rethink that, or just have smaller ships. That'll probably be what I do. Up here is a welder that Nordic Beast very kindly gave me. I didn't even have to pay him for it, which is lucky, because none of that would be welded right now if he hadn't gifted that to me. A welder was my next thing to build after I'd finished the scaffolding. Yeah, that tends to be how I do it. I put scaffolding down, see if I like it. Actually, there is a bit of a story to tell here, because I came down here and I spent 2 or 3 hours after I saw this thinking this is what I want to do now. And if I go down a new station, hot enchiladas, that means something. I think it means penis. I'm not going to explain that. I'm just going to let you... yeah. Anyway, so we'll go in here, see how the plane of this sort of inverted torus on the inside here, oh, can't I, like, scroll this out? I can't. We'll get rid of it then. So basically the level that this is on, that's the plane of the torus, and then if we bring in a station, the grid is on a completely, like, wrong angle. And on the last Wednesday before the update, I spent ages trying to counteract that and work out a way to get as much in here as I could without it looking sort of silly, having a station on an angle, like a different angle. I spent a long time basically putting in as many of the... So you can see all the scaffolding that's in now. I basically did that on that weird angle, and I managed to sort of counteract it, but ultimately it would have been too difficult to build in, and I gave up. And so I think I spent about an hour and a half building it, and then another half hour or so tearing it down, and then I decided I'm going back to my old plan. And then the day after, Keen updates the game and adds the free moving thing. What does it be? Yeah, this. The day after. So I started my plans again and put it in here. I just wanted to show off what I'm doing at the moment. I think I'll pause it here and come back when I've done a little bit more, see how it looks then. I've done a little bit more work, as you can probably see. I have started to weld up quite a lot of it, and I have started inside as well. I'll show you that in a second, but that's what I'll be working on next episode. I'm going to start the inside before the outside is finished, because if I learnt anything from the Season 1 world is that I will never finish the outside, and therefore will never actually get to the inside. So I'm going to do them at the same time, bit by bit as I need things. I've come up against a bit of a quandary here, because this is the newer blocks where you can sort of with this bottom one, the light armor slope, and the light armor slope, but with the different sizes, so the base and then the tip, that allows for this gentler slope across the entire thing, and I think I like that a bit more, because it is a little bit more circular looking, and it does make everything look a lot smoother. The problems that I'm running into, though, with continuing that is the ability to work around these irregular, because it's not a regular circle, and circles don't really work in any voxel-based game, really, but with this, see, it's not like on diagonals, it's not, so it's a bit hard to kind of work around the fact that there are these, it sort of curves away gently. But I have gone back to the old style of just the 4 main blocks, and I have, there's a bit that's unwelded there, I'll get to that in a second. I have never really been a fan of this, trying to smooth things off in this way, and that's mostly me. I do this a lot. Perhaps if they were, I guess a color would be, like some extra colors, maybe a highlight on the slopes, maybe that will make it look a bit nicer, but I've never really been a fan of trying to smooth things around by doing this. It will probably look a lot better than that other option over there by the time I curve this around. I'll work on it a bit more, and then in the next episode we'll come back to it and see if, like, I'll try and extend that side over there a little bit around the edge and meet them up and see if that works. But I am happy with how this is coming along. Oh, I've also, I made mention of this, I think, in the first bit, but it sort of curves under a little, which I like there. Don't forget that this isn't it's not going to be completely smooth like this. There are going to be windows everywhere. It's not going to be symmetrical, or it's not going to be that sort of a very rigid and structured build. It's not going to be particularly planned either. I'll talk about that a bit more when we get inside, but you have to imagine like little bits and pieces poking off the side. A lot of them will be decorative, because this is yet another massive build. My frame rate has already dropped down to a frankly unacceptable level. I'm hoping that I can continue here, but if not, then I guess I can cut this off, say where these rounded bits are, and sort of fold this back in to the asteroid, so that it halves the size of the station. So basically the bit that's on screen now, it would be that bit, and then it would curve back in, and this side over here I guess would sort of flow back into the back side. Like this here could be the back of the base here, well, not really the back, but the alternate, or the main entrance, I guess, and we would have like a hangar here. But this brings me on to the inside, and so this is over this. I'm thinking of making this bit up here a bit of a dock port. I'll have some connectors there. I may even extend it out so that it comes out the side here and make it look nice, so that I have the connector, like a connector all the way out of it, about where I am now over here, so you can fly a larger ship in and still dock. I'll have to work out a way to make that look good without it just a very big long, maybe it'll look better coming out the front here, but I don't know if having a long prod sticking out the front will look any better. That's a work in progress. I could make it out of the top as well, so you could have a big spire coming up from the top. I think I like that a bit more. So you would fly your ship in like a large ship here, and you would dock at about this point. I think I like that a bit more, so I'll have to try and work out how to build that up and make it look decent without it sort of throwing the smooth, well, attempted smooth look. I might throw that out the window. The dock thing would come through the roof or over the side, and I've got these bits here. I'll extend them. What's my energy and oxygen? Yeah, that'll be good enough. Why can't I build that? Why didn't it build? Did I? Yeah, I must have clicked that wrong. Nope, nope, it's doing this again. Are you not going to place? There's some imaginary thing in the road that's not allowing me to place there. There's fine. There's not. That's, I don't know what's causing that, but it's happening quite often. It's rather annoying. So this would be one floor, and that, yeah. So the bottom floor here, I think it would extend out. Let's see. So a large cargo container is 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. That looks a bit wide. I might have to narrow the inside or have all my cargo containers on one wall. We'll go with that for the moment. But anyway, so the top up here, you would have things come in, and then they would go into a couple of, or maybe 2 or 3 temporary containers up the top here, and I'll make the top row up here. So this room would only extend out to about where I am now, to here, and then I would have the temporary containers there. Over that side I can do something else with, and then the next floor down I have refineries along that wall, refineries along, so that block down there, if we extend that up. I don't think it's going to be this wide, but for the sake of argument, and you would have refineries on that wall. So it would pull down, I would have a conveyor sorter. It would pull down ores into the refinery room, or else it will split off down. Say, I'll have to plan out the sorting a bit better. Like, I'll have to make sure that that's good, because otherwise you end up with these infinite loops, and yeah, they're a bit fiddly. So that would be refineries, and then assemblers down the bottom here. So that way, maybe the storage I would have in larger room out the back here, with quite a few cargo containers. I might make that look a little more organic, not just sort of cargo containers on the wall, but maybe a bit more like a storage bay for a hangar. Yes, so they would come down into there, so the components would be pushed away into the component area. The ingots would all be... I'm not entirely sure whether I prefer having the components automatically disassemble themselves, because that's what I'm currently doing, not automatically but manually within the Ugly Barry. I've got like a disassembler in there, and I disassemble everything back into their constituent ingots, and then if I need something I build exactly what I need, and then if I don't need it I then disassemble it again. And that's sustainable in like a ship like that, with the sort of things that I've got building there. But I don't know, maybe it's better to leave all the components out, so that way I don't have to build 500,000 steel plates to do something. They're already there. But then if you need something and the ingots aren't around, you sort of have to go hunting for them. So I don't know, I may try and store everything just in ingots alone, and then build them when I need them. I would have a whole bunch of assemblers in here, all sort of in cooperative mode, so that way they'll throw in everything I need, and they would build as fast as possible, and then all the components would be spit back out into, maybe I'll just have one component container, 1 or 2, and they would sort of spit back into that one as required. And then if they're not required, maybe I can just sort of put them back in the ingot container. And if you put anything in the ingot container, it would sort of pull through, like with the whitelist in the conveyor sorter, it would pull through into a disassembler assembler, and grind them down. That would be manual, but that would give me the choice of what I want disassembled and what I don't. And I won't have to fiddle around with the disassembler itself either, because it will, the conveyor sorter will sort that out for me. But all in all, this area I'm going to be making sort of the industrial complex. The rest of this I don't have a particular plan for, but I don't want to plan... See, this side I wanted to do some big fancy hangar door stuff, and yeah, I'm not sure if I want this entire thing oxygen sealed. So at the moment, like you can see behind here, there's going to be this wall, but I've left a significant gap behind here for any sort of system work that I need, although I prefer to have that out in the open, because like having a conveyor tube and decorating it nicely, having that run through the middle of the base rather than just having a blank floor can look quite nice, I think. So some of the major systems might actually be running right through the middle of stuff just for the aesthetics. But yeah, multiple floors through here, and hopefully quite a few windows and some nice viewing platforms. Yeah, I hope this one works out, because I do have a tendency to do these massive builds. I should scale it down a little. Maybe I'll work up so that I have this sort of half station that I was talking about at the start. I'll have that half station about where I'm looking now. Before I did that, I have that half station, and then the other half I'll work out later. But I think that's all for now. We'll work on the industrial complex in the next episode. So goodbye.